Alright, so this Alienware Alpha or Alienware Steam Machine was having an issue where the light was flashing yellow 5 times. If you have this issue, usually what it means is you have a bad CMOS, BIOS, or RTC, real-time clock battery. And you'll want to actually take it apart and check the voltage of the battery. This battery was like 2 point something volts when I checked it. Soon you'll see, I'll show how to replace the battery with a nice way that you can easily replace the battery in the future. But yeah, once I replaced the battery, the thing was still flashing yellow. So what you need to do, you can probably reset the BIOS using the jumper inside the motherboard, but the easy way without doing that is after if you've replaced the CMOS battery and made sure that it's showing about 3 to 3.3 volts, you'll want to make sure that the power is disconnected from the back of it, and then press and hold the power button here for about a minute. So hold it for like 60 seconds, either that or longer. Once that's done, you can go ahead and plug it back in and it should start up normally again. If it doesn't start up normally, even after you confirm that the battery is getting 3.3 volts or 3 volts around there, then you most likely have a motherboard issue. Another thing you can try checking is the RAM, but the 5 flashes is supposed to be a BIOS or CMOS battery issue. So anyways, I'll show you now how to take it apart, and yep. Alright, so we're going to be taking another stab at this Alienware Alpha Alienware Steam Machine, okay? So first thing, we got this new adapter here. Hopefully this will be enough that we can actually route the wires over and then make this battery a lot easier to replace in the future. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and open this up and put a battery in there, okay? Just get that lined up. Let's see, am I putting this wrong? Just like that. Let's close that battery in, and then we're going to go ahead and check and make sure the voltage is coming through. Make sure this is in the on position, of course. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the voltmeter here. Alright, then we just want to make sure we're going to use the right pins. Alright, so we got that, and here we go, 3.31. So this is the red one, and this is the black one. So I'm just going to mark this so it's easier to tell. So I put shrink tubing here. So that's the black one, right? Confirm one more time just to be sure. Okay, 3.31. All right, so we're gonna set the voltmeter aside. Let's go ahead and open this computer back up. Again, there's 4 screws here. The customer took them out. I made another video earlier. If you take this cover out, there's a USB port that's here. I'm not sure what exactly that's for, but you can put whatever fits there, maybe a wireless mouse or small USB adapter. All right, so you want to remove those 4 screws. Because the customer already removed them, I don't know what size the screws are. I'm gonna guess they're PH1 or PH2 screwdrivers. All right, so next thing we're gonna do, there's this little gap here. We're gonna go around and just pop this out, okay? So I'm just using my fingernails. You can use a plastic pry tool if you want. Just go ahead and pop this thing out here. Okay, we're just gonna keep rotating it. And then this triangle part also pops up, but I don't think you have to pull that out by hand, so we'll leave that for now. Then we're gonna go ahead and pop this last edge here. Okay, let's lay this down and see if we can pull the cover off. Might have to kind of wiggle it around. All right, it's kind of still stuck a little bit. Let's see, maybe it's this corner. Okay, yep, this corner's kind of stuck here, so maybe let's leave this cover off just to be safe. Nope, still stuck. Okay, I'm not sure why this one corner's stuck here. Just want to try and pull this thing up and out. Come on. It's stuck in there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there we go. We got the bottom cover off, just like that. Okay, so now we're going to take this whole thing apart again like last time. Let's go ahead and get the P2 or JIS2 screwdriver. Again, we will also need a P1 or JIS1. All right, or PH1, which stands for Phillips, or JAS, which is the Japanese standard. All right, so we'll remove this one screw. When you get that screw out, you can tilt this up and pull this thing out. All right, just like that. Set that screw aside. Under here is the hard drive or the SSD. We're going to remove this as well. All right, twist that screw. Get that screw out. And then to remove this, you want to go down here and then slide this down, just like that. All right, so here you can see it's a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. You can upgrade this to a 2.5-inch SATA SSD. There's just the 4 screws holding this into place. You can take those screws out and then you can put a new hard drive or SSD in there. If you do replace this, make sure that you either clone your hard drive to the new drive first, or that you have a Windows installer USB. All right, we'll set this aside as well. Okay, make sure this is out of the way. Too much stuff over here. Okay. All right, so next thing we're going to do is pop this thing out. Let's see. I don't think I had to remove this USB, so let's go ahead and, yeah, we'll just flip this over. Okay, so I'm not going to remove any of this. We're going to flip the whole thing over like this. You want to hold on to this because you don't want this to fall out. All right, and then we're going to slowly just grab the outer layer here and lift this up just like that. All right, so this piece comes out easily just like that. Okay, so now we're going to, like before, remove these fans from here. So just pinch these two things and then you can lift the fan out. To remove the connector here, you just grab the wire or the connector. If you can, grab the connector and you just kind of wiggle it and then pull it up like that. All right, we're going to do the same thing with the CPU fan. So there's the GPU, there's the CPU fan, same thing, squeeze that, lift it up, grab the wires or the connector and kind of just wiggle it side to side as you pull it up. There we go. Here's the RAM, just like every other computer. You just pull these two tabs to the side and the RAM will come up just like this. I need to clean these tabs. But it's PC3L 12800S, so this is DDR3 memory. All right, same thing with this one. Just pull those two tabs to the side, pull it up, and there we go. Again, we're going to clean that off. So the RAM, you don't really need to remove it to do this. But I did it anyways. I marked this so I know which connector is which. Last time, we're going to disconnect this connector as well. Okay, just wiggle that and pull it back. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. Okay, just grab that, wiggle it, and pull it back. All right, so let me see if I can remember which cable's which. One is for the light, and then one is for the actual USB. I'm not 100% sure which is which. I'm gonna guess this is for the USB and this is for the LED here. Do they actually label it? Logo. Actually, this one is for the light, the logo, and then this one is for the USB. They actually labeled it on the board. Okay, then you got the wireless card here. I'm not gonna undo the antennas, but we are going to take the wireless card out. So we're gonna have to switch to a PH1 or JAS1 screwdriver and remove that one screw there. Okay, once you get that screw out, here you can see this plastic piece comes out. Take that out. Wireless card will pop up. We're going to go ahead and pull the wireless card back this way. All right, and there we go. So we're just going to move this aside. We're not completely taking it out because we're just going to be taking the motherboard out and we don't want this in the way. Okay, so we'll hold that out of the way. If you want to see how to remove the antennas, I have a video showing that, but I'm not going to do that in this video. Right, then we got the power button connector here. We're going to grab that one and wiggle that and pull that out as well. So just keep wiggling it as you pull it and eventually it should pop out. There we go. Okay, and we'll set that aside as well. All right, we're going to switch back to the PH2 or JS2 screwdriver and we're going to remove the 4 screws holding this motherboard in place. Okay. Let's go ahead and remove all 4. Hopefully this computer will work after this. It's flashing like a yellowish white light. And last time it was a BIOS or CMOS battery issue. I tried doing a workaround, but that didn't really get it to start up. So we'll see if this will fix that problem and make a more permanent fix. All right, so we're getting the 4 motherboard screws out. Okay, just the 4 in the corners. You don't need to remove all these other little screws here. All right, and then we're going to remove the 2 screws holding this metal back plate in place. Okay, just like that. Okay, so as you can see, there's this area where these cables come out, I'm gonna try and route this so that it goes out over that way, and then we can change the battery easily. I'll just have to mount the battery somewhere on here, maybe to the back here or something. We'll figure it out. All right, so there we go. Let's go ahead and remove this back plate here. So to remove this back plate, there's a little clip back here. You want to make sure to hold the motherboard in place so it doesn't fall out. But here you can see there's this clip. So when you push this back, then you can go ahead and slide this piece out, okay? Just like that. All right, we're gonna set that aside, and now let's go ahead and pull the motherboard out. So we got all of this out. Let's go ahead and lift the motherboard, and then hold it and pull this out, okay? So there we go. So here you can see we got the motherboard out. Here's the CMOS battery that we tried to fix earlier, so let's go ahead and take that back out. Okay. I don't think that worked. Let's actually check. So this actually is too thick. It's not gonna fit right here. Okay, so we have to actually route it over the corner like I was mentioning earlier. I'm gonna see if this even has a voltage coming off of it right now. So let's see here. It's showing 3.28 volts, so I don't know why it wasn't booting, but we'll find out if replacing this with a better connection will work. All right, let's go ahead and take the battery out of here. Okay, let's take that out, and let's take this out. Okay, maybe it wasn't getting a solid connection because that just came off really easily. All right. Okay, so last time we tried to make this tab thing here. Make sure that you put it the right way. I don't think you can actually plug this in upside down. Yeah, you can only plug it in one way. So as you can see, it plugs in this way with the little gold pins facing up. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to now attach the other thing to that. So let's move this aside. I'm going to get this battery thing over here. Move the motherboard aside. We're going to now zoom in. I'm going to get my soldering iron ready. Got to heat it up. Okay. And we're going to use the same thing as last time. We have this with a popsicle stick just to prevent from burning stuff. All right, and we're just going to remove these pieces here because we no longer need these tabs. Okay, so I'm going to let that heat up, and then I'm going to pull these tabs off. And we're going to basically solder this wire directly onto here. Okay, this one has the nice on and off switch, so technically you can use that to disconnect the CMOS battery without actually taking the CMOS battery out, which is kind of nice if you ever needed to do that for some reason. Okay, so we're going to let the soldering iron heat up. And I'm actually going to put this in off mode for now, just so it's not putting out any current to the battery, so we don't accidentally short something. Okay. All right. Let's see. I don't think it's hot enough yet, but let's see. Oh, actually it is. Okay, so we took that tab off. Okay. Just like that. And we'll take the red one off as well. Okay, there we go. So we got those two tabs off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to solder this directly onto here. Okay, so you want these two wires to stick together. All right, and to do that, I'm going to add some flux here. Okay, this helps the solder flow really well. Okay, so I'm going to put some, we don't need that much, just enough to kind of get it on the wire. There we go. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to heat these wires up and try and get this solder to go directly to stick them together. All right, so let's see here. It's a little bit tricky this way, but let's see what we can do. There we go, it's stuck on already. I might have to add more solder to that actually, but for now that's holding. Okay, let me go ahead and move this wire and make sure that it lines up. Okay. The tricky part is making these wires like stay together when you heat it. Okay. It helps to kind of use some tool to kind of help hold it in place, but let's see here. Okay, so that wire soldered on together really well. This one I'm going to add a little extra solder. Let's see if I can steal the solder from this thing. I don't know if I can because this is pure copper. Yep, nope, I don't think I can take the solder from there. So I'm going to add some new solder onto the soldering iron. Oh, okay, I got a bunch here. Let's see if we can get the black wire to take on a little more solder. Oops. That's a lot more solder. There we go. Okay, let's turn off the soldering iron for now. And let's see if this is a good connection. So you want to kind of like pull on it, make sure it's a good solid connection and it's holding. So now what we're going to do, we're going to slide over these heat shrink tubes over it. Okay. Just like that. Okay. And then I'm going to use some fire to shrink this tubing on there. Oops, that's way too high. Let me lower the fire. All right. So now these shrink tubes should hold on. I can also put some electrical tape on top just to make sure it holds on really well. Or I can even get like a larger one, but then I'd have to have it go over the top here, so I don't know if I have that. I'm going to just use some electrical tape. All right, let me actually tin the tip of my soldering iron real quick. Oops, I think I cooled it down too much. Yeah, I pulled it down too much. Let me heat this back up. Okay, I have to let that heat up some. All right, let's check the battery and make sure it's a good connection. Let's turn this back on. Okay. Set the soldering aside for now. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this again. And we're going to test and make sure that this is working. Okay, toss that aside for now. All right. Let's see here. All right, and here you can see 3.31 volts. All right, that's good. Now let's make sure we can plug that in. I'm going to tin the tip of my soldering iron real quick, just to make sure that it doesn't get screwed up. Okay, turn it off. Okay. There we go. Set that aside. Okay, so now we're going to reassemble this thing. Okay, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and reassemble this computer. Zoom out a bit. Okay, we're going to reconnect this. Oh, actually, let me put some electrical tape on that real quick, just to make sure that it doesn't short anything somehow. I'm not sure why they put foil tape on here. I'm actually gonna put the electrical tape on that whole piece just to be safe, because I don't know if that's gonna short anything. That's kind of weird. I didn't really pay attention and think about that. Okay. So I'm going to wrap electrical tape over this way. Sorry, just like that. And we're just wrapping the electrical tape over the top. I'm just folding it in half because that holds a lot better. Okay, and then I'm going to wrap the rest over this way. Alright, let's go ahead and plug the battery back in. Again, you want these exposed metal pins facing upwards. Right, so I'll get that, pinch the two connections together. There we go. So now we're going to get the motherboard back into this housing. And we're going to try and make sure that this battery is accessible from outside. So we got this like that. Okay, so I'm going to curve the battery connection over like this. And we're going to have it go over this corner here. Okay, just like that. Okay, so let's see if we can somehow keep it in that position. Slide the motherboard in. Get the wireless card out of the way. Okay, I'm going to turn this off for now. Alright, slide the motherboard down. And there we go. So we got all of that into place. Can see everything is lined up nicely. Make sure that the motherboard is lined up nicely. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is put back the 4 motherboard screws. Hopefully you're able to see everything. Let me zoom out a bit more. Okay, so we're going to get these 4 motherboard screws in first. I'm going to loosely fit them first, so that way everything is lined up. Okay, make sure everything is lined up. Okay, tighten that down. Tighten that down. I'm wondering where I should mount this. Well, I have to find a good spot for it. Alright, tighten that screw down. Tighten this screw down. Okay, we got those 4 screws in. Let's go ahead and get this metal back plate on. Okay, just get it lined up. Slide it back into place. Okay, we'll get these 2 screws back in. That one. Good. Other screw. Alright, good. Let's go ahead and plug all these connectors back in. Power button connector, get it lined up. Click that in place. Alright. Wireless adapter. Hold the battery connector out of the way. Alright, get this line back up. Go and push that into place again. Make sure that's in. Alright, get this plastic thing, drop it back in place, just like that. Switch back over to the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. Right, hold that down, get that screw in. There we go, nice. Make sure it's fitting properly, tighten that in. Nice snug fit. Alright, let's get this connector back in. Good. Alright, let's go ahead and get the logo connector back in. Perfect. Alright, so let's go ahead and put these fans in. So we got the GPU connector here. Get that lined up and plugged in. Make sure to keep this battery out of the way for now. Okay. Get this lined up, squeeze it, get it into place, let go, and then double check, make sure the fan is holding into place properly. Looks good. CPU fan. Oh, don't forget the RAM, of course. Okay, click that down. Another stick of RAM. Same thing, click that down. Alright, CPU fan. Line it up, push it into place. Get this, click that into place. There we go. So let's see, where's a nice place that we can mount this little thing? There's a lot of slack, so we can literally mount it anywhere we want. If anything, you can just have it, it's not going to fit there. Where should I stick this? I don't know. Kind of want it to stick onto something so it's not just rattling around in here. I was considering putting it here, but there's not really a place to completely latch it down. Anyways, let's turn this on. All right. Maybe, okay, this corner works well. I don't think it will move anywhere. These cables kind of hold it in place, so that's a nice place to fit it. You don't even have to use any glue. There we go. So let's go ahead and get these little covers and put them back on. So we got this one. We're gonna line up, we got this triangle, so we're gonna line that up over here with the light. Okay, and then let's go ahead and flip this over. Okay, so here you can see that. Okay, maybe I should have had it come through here. It's fine. Okay, so we got that, and then let's go ahead and put the hard drive back in. So we got the hard drive here. You want to line up these 4 pieces with these slits here. Okay. Drop it in place and then slide that over. There we go. Put the screw back in. Make sure I have to switch back to the PH2 or JIS2. Alright, then we got the metal hard drive, or the USB little cover. Get that in. Again, there's little feet that you have to put in first, and then tighten this screw down. Alright, last piece, let's put on this cover. Just like that, line up the triangle piece here, okay. Drop it into place, there we go. You can go ahead and put this cover back on. Alright, and then you want to snap in all these little edges here, okay. So you have to like push this side casing in down while you kind of snap this around. But that's pretty much it. Then you just put back the last 4 screws from the bottom. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, please like and subscribe. Share my channel with others. Alright, as you can see, this is holding in place. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you save a bunch of money, please consider throwing a little my way. Every little bit helps. And I'll see you all in the next video. Alright, let's drop this. Bye.